Retired Los Angeles Police Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey joins us now to discuss this. So, what stands out to you about this case and the charges?
Well, I mean, what stands out is that this should never have occurred. We know from everything that we've heard that these officers used excessive force, and I've heard a brief explanation by one of the defense attorneys that the officer believed he acted appropriately and did as he was trained to do. We know that not to be the case because officers are trained and taught to use only that force necessary to overcome resistance, and they went well beyond that, and they did so for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously we haven't seen the video, but you've heard a general description of it. What are you expecting? And speak to the anger and frustration from the community that we're likely to see when it's released.
Well, obviously, this is on the heels of the George Floyd deadly use of force, and there are some who thought that measures would be taken and there would have been a deterrence for officers going forward, so that sort of use of force could never occur again. But sadly, we're here, and I think we will continue to experience this. There will continue to be frustration on the part of the community unless and until there's an end to qualified immunity. Because what if these officers really learned nothing? There's a civil settlement paid at the end of these outrageous, egregious uses of force. The department doesn't pay it. The officer doesn't pay that tax. The officer doesn't pay the settlement, taxpayers do. And so you have 5 young officers between 2 and 5 years on the job who obviously didn't think anything was wrong with what they were doing. And so I hope that going forward we can have substantive conversation about what we can do to really hold officers accountable.
Yeah, there's been a lot of focus on the Scorpion unit, a type of specialized unit to suppress violent crime that they were in. I mean, you've seen similar units at the LAPD. I imagine the mission and attitudes of those in units like these, particularly if they're inexperienced, as you said, how can that be a contributing factor?
Well, the fact that these officers were young on the job, 2 to 5 years on the department, means that, that in my mind as a supervisor who's managed officers, they didn't know anything. And clearly they probably act with very minimal supervision. When you work in specialized units like that, and I have in Operation South Bureau Crash, you tend to have free reign. And if you don't have the right temperament and the experience and the skill set, you find yourself being extra aggressive. These are officers who I like to refer to as elephant hunters. They're the ones that go out and are proactive. They get involved in what we call pre-text stops, and it sounds like this may have been something like that, a reckless driving, which is just an infraction, and then it can hopefully lead to maybe finding someone that has drugs or guns or in a stolen vehicle. And when you have someone who runs, officers routinely some will punish you at the end of a foot pursuit, and that's what happened with Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, I mean, you referenced some of the previous incidents, but in those incidents, the police officers accused were generally white. I mean, these officers involved are all African Americans, so race won't be the factor it's been in other similar cases. So how do you think that'll play into how this is perceived and how it's dealt with?
Well, I don't think race, in my opinion, ever really plays a part. I think in all instances, there are officers who are drunk with power. And it's just that most of these departments have so few blacks that we don't see them out working patrol. We don't see them engaged in this kind of outrageous and egregious behavior. It's mostly male whites. Every now and then we'll see a female involved, but it's just officers who are drunk with power. One of the officers reportedly had been previously sued for some excessive use of force. Clearly, he didn't learn a lesson. He lived to offend again. And so unless and until there's substantive accountability, we're going to continue to have these officers who are hot dogs or hard chargers who kick butt and take name on these specialized units involved in this kind of activity across these 18,000 police departments in the U.S.
Sad to hear so little seems to be learned. Really appreciate your expertise on this. Thank you so much for being here with us.